You know, now that I've built these, I realize I don't have anything to play them on. Guess I gotta build a board. Hey guys, Guardian Matt here. Like I said earlier, now that I have these hills that I made, I need something to play them on. But I don't want to build like a giant table or anything like that. So, what are we going to do? Well, I got the best solution right here. These are going to be my board. So this is something I've been mulling around for the past couple years now. I purchased these canvases a while back for a personal project, and I only ended up using like 2 of them. I had a bunch, like I had to buy a 7-pack, so I had 5 left over. So I thought, these would look nice as like little display boards or something like that. So I, as you can see, I mocked one up a little bit, but only got this far, and it kind of just sat around since then. Until recently, where I saw a WulvenKraft video where he uses similar things like this, as well as a couple like artist level grade canvases, not canvases, but like wooden ones. And he made guillotine boards out of it. And I thought, I'm glad I'm not the only person that had this idea. So I had 5, I went out and got another pack of the same size, and thought maybe I can make a modular board for 40K or Age of Sigmar or whatever I'm playing. So here we are now. Now, these are 11 by 14. These are 11 by 14. 11, 14. It's not the worst. But I need to build an incursion map, which is for the 1000.1, also for the combat patrol, which is 30 by 44. Now, if you're like me, my first thought is that math ain't mathing right. So I can easily get to 44 because this side's 11. That's not the issue. However, 14 times 2 is only 28. I'm off by 2 inches. Now, if you're playing at home with your friends, who cares? But to reach the bare minimum, I now have to stack this way 3 times to get 42. But you don't need to use all 42. You only need to use about 30 of it for the bare minimum, but you can use all of it if you want. It's really up to you. So I need to do the math and see how many I need. Well, 11 going one way gives me 44 if I use 4 of them. So I need to go 4 one direction, and I need at least 3 the other way to get that 42 to get the bare minimum of 30. So I need to do 11 of these. It just happened I had 13 of them laying around. So I'm going to use 11 of them, because I don't want to do the other one, to get them up to a certain point. They're all going to be based similar to how my mountains are, my hills, just so I can use them all in one scheme. Now, just like the hills video, which I'll link up there, you don't have to base them the same way. You can base them however you want. If you're more in a Mars terrain, make a Mars. If you're in the Arctic, make it the Arctic. This is just for how I'm building mine specifically. I'm making ones later on, maybe like a city or something like that. But for right now, that's what I'm going to build. Now, if you look at these, you don't get much depth at all, because this is a canvas sheet. You kind of can't cut into it to build layers going down like you would if you're using foam. This, you have to build upwards. However, I want these to be stackable to put away for storage. I'm going to be putting them in a storage container. So I can't make them too high. They have to be able to fit like this. So I'm a little limited. Now, doing stuff like this, perfectly fine. This just adds a little bit of an extra layer. Shouldn't hurt it at all. But I didn't want everything to look like that. So I printed a couple things out. These are dungeon tiles I use for my D&D campaign. Well, for my D&D campaign with my family. I like them. Links to this will be down below. They fit perfectly on these, and because they are so flat, I don't have any issues putting something else on top. Because they do have a little depth on the bottom end. So these will be perfectly fine. I have a bunch of these in different sizes. I'll use them that way. The other thing are these craters. I printed a couple of these out. I can put them on there. Now my first thought was I might have to trace them out, make like a splotch on the ground, and if I want to put a crater there, I can. If I want to put like maybe a tree there, I can as well. Or I could use it as like rough terrain or whatever you want to do it, and just leave it blank. However, after putting this on there and put it in, it really does lay more or less flat. Like I see a little bit of a bump here, but that's it. So I can end up putting these on here as well. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set those up first before I start any of the flocking.
All right, so I've got all my canvases here. I ended up gluing down a bunch of 3D printed kind of like terrain pieces, shells, shell like holes and everything, and a couple like tile pieces I have down from like maybe like broken down the shambled houses that went away. Next we're going to pour some PVA glue, well, kind of like paint it on there because we don't want to pour it on there, just to get a better base structure, as well as it spread out for the base flocking of just a sand mixture. This is a bunch of sand, some small stones, stuff like that I've bought from multiple different packs off of Amazon, just to make a variant gradient from here. And this is what I usually use for a lot of my basing material, whether it's terrain or for miniatures itself. You've probably seen it in a couple previous videos. Once that's fully dried, we're going to take some watered down black paint just to go across everything. Now, the sand is going to absorb some of it, so you might have to do a second coat. I believe I did 2 coats with this one. And we just want to get everything, all the top parts, all the little terrain pieces that are on there, as well as the sides as well, because we don't want the white sides poking out off the side. It being black kind of gives to the actual natural part of it. You see the little whites on the sides poking up, it kind of like throws it off a little bit. So you just want to make sure you get everything covered off with just like a base coat for it. Now, these pieces I glued onto there, they don't fit flush, so they do have a little bit of a ridge over on the sides. So to get that all like seamed out, I'm going to put some of this gap filler. I believe this is wood gap filler or just gap filler in general. I got this from Home Depot. It was pretty cheap. I like it. I kind of really do like it. I've used it in another project as well, and it works great. It does clump up a little bit, but that's fine. It's just supposed to look like earth just pushed up against the foundations of stuff. It's been a while since things have been here, and it's just kind of like taking back over. Now that that's kind of dried, we want to go and just cover up all the stone textures with just a quick brushing of just gray. We just want to put that on top of it. If the black shows through, that's perfectly fine. It's going to, it gives to the depth of the individual pieces. We're just going to go across a couple of these right here, and then with the gray, and then we're going to move on to the next step, which is just weathering it down. Sadly, I did not grab the part of me coating the actual ground part of it. I guess I accidentally forgot to hit record for that. But just use whatever environment you want to use. I use this chocolatey brown. But on to the next step of just weathering these grayed down rock parts right now with some black paint. You want to make sure this is kind of like wet so it doesn't like overwhelm it. Once that's done and all dried, we're going to move on to the flocking, and we're going to use like a 2-part like system with it, kind of like if you're battering chicken or any food or anything like that. We have a wet and a dry sheet. We're going to use just Woodland Scenic, just flocking for it, a bit of a dark ground, like brown green texture to start off. You see me just flipping those back and forth between dry and wet to just make sure I don't get anything like stuck on there, and I can easily just reuse anything that I didn't use that fell off. Now that that's all dried down, we're going to coat again with the the watered down PVA, and you can see the method right there with the 2 trays. Obviously, I probably should move the 1 tray over a bit more because it is getting a lot on there. But overall, it's still drier than if I was using one tray. And this next part, we're just going to use a bit of a light green grass one just to highlight it, add a little bit more depth to the whole field itself. It's the same materials I used for those hills that you saw before in the previous video. Once this is all dried, you'll be able to just go and play. And here is the board itself. Like I said, this is fully modular. You can move anything, configure it however you want. I just put it down in this configuration with the hills from before and just some of my blood ravens, just to show you how you can set up a board like this. But like I said, completely modular. You can move any of these parts around, so that means every game has its own different feel to it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I loved making this. I know it's been a while for this video to come out, but thank you all for this 50th subscriber video. As of right now, there are 52 of you guys. I love all of you, and I hope you guys stay around for all the future videos. And remember, guys, eyes up and keep rolling.